Hey guys, I'm tired, I'm in bed, and I'm gonna be talking about my history with arcades as a youngin', cause it is nostalgic place, and the different arcade machines that I usually play. And I'm making this video because I realized soon I'm gonna be migrating somewhere else, and it's gonna be the last time I'll be able to visit one. So where are we right now? We're currently in Galaxy Mall, Surabaya. It's got 2 locations. Time Zone, which is the biggest chain in Indonesia, I believe. Okay, before anything else, I need to address the footage. It is almost unusable because of the way that I handled the phone. So I apologize. It looks like I'm limping, but I'm gonna use it anyways. Look at how futuristic and modern malls just are. This place is practically the near future. Malls are great. That's probably why as a kid I wanted to visit them every single weekend as often as I could, and the arcade was just the coolest part of an already cool place, the mall. When I was young, I was interested in arcades just because of how they looked and how they're rainbow colored and just fun places to be in, but when I became older, there was a revitalization because I started being friends with more rhythm game arcaders, and also the ones that went to Maximum too. Like, they were really into high skill games. So anywho, we didn't even talk about the games that I usually tend to play in arcades. So first up is a classic, air hockey, the pinnacle of competitiveness. Now, the footage that I'm using here is a particular machine, Pac-Man themed, but I remember having specific, nostalgic memories with this machine in particular, because it's regular air hockey, but it isn't as simple, and it is also point-based compared to the regular air hockey where you get 7 rounds and there's only 1 puck. There is a stupid giant mistake I made. You can clearly see I threw the puck. It ricocheted right back into my own goal. I am stupid. Okay, next one I played is Pump It Up. Now, you can usually find a Pump It Up in most arcades in Indonesia. They are the replacement for DDR, and even though they are everywhere, I've never really gotten that much into them, especially because they are very taxing. I just don't have the endurance. I wasn't able to read the beat map for the 3rd stage, and it was only on level 7, and I ran away like a coward. We just sat down and watched this cute little anime video. I am a pretty big rhythm game player. I think the one that I really got into when it comes to rhythm games in arcades is My Milk. That still exists in Indonesia, it's just I tend to not find them in the arcades I go to. That's not true, actually. It's not the only arcade rhythm game that I go to. I find a couple of piano ones. I find specifically Piano Blocks, which is like this cheap-ass baby rhythm game meant for people that are younger than me, because it's not really that difficult. It feels like an oversized mobile game. And I usually get a spot on the leaderboard, but I guess it just wasn't in me that day, and I failed spectacularly. I don't think even my fastest score, which is probably around 10 or 11, even got a space on the leaderboard. Anywho, who cares? So no surprise, after playing this, I passed out. I died. I had, for some reason, some stomach troubles. My eyes were getting weary. I was actually dehydrated and like all the energy left my body. Like I was incredibly tired. I don't know why, but after Pump It Up and Piano Blocks, which are both rhythm games, I was both mentally and physically exhausted. Okay, I talked about this in a video that I'm never gonna release, but I enjoy games that test your skill, which is why rhythm games are great for me. But there's also these strength games that test how strong you are. There's another one called Bruce Lee, where you punch as hard as you can. That one's always a favorite. And you know, I'm a weak little thing, but playing these are always fun and competitive if you got multiple people. These are surprisingly just simple ones that I could get into and rely on an arcade to have. Stacker is another one that I'm getting into. It's still just a fun little timing mini game, and considering the simplicity, it might be the one that I can cheese the easiest, but it's still a difficult challenge. Also, every single crane game is way too expensive and completely rigged. They should make the crane have like at least twice the strength that it actually has. So yeah, speaking of those arcade games that are everywhere, I love these little stupid car games meant for children, and I enjoy corrupting them because usually you get to drive around anywhere you want and there's usually other cars on the road, so why not smash into them? I just try my best to utterly ruin and crash into everything, even though it's a children's game, because I'm an actual psychopath. For this one in particular, I somehow misunderstood the instructions.
Kill the monster. Kill the kids, save the monsters.
Next one, my partner really wanted to try out the Ultraman game. I've seen a couple of these before. I played them. I always go on easy difficulty, even though I don't know why. It's literally for children. But the cool thing about this one is that it's also a collectible game, and you know, I enjoy collectibles as something you get to bring home, and it's also randomized, so it's got the gacha appeal to it as well.
Oh my, look at that, it's a shiny.
How?
What? Oh, a G?
Man, I've never sounded this excited for anything ever. My relationship with Ultraman is I just have friends who are really into it, and I can geek about it a bit as well after watching a few series, but I'm not that big into it. Anywho, it's one of those games where the game just tells you what to do. It is a rhythm game, practically. Like, the concept of it is you are an Ultraman, you get to put in a card, you get to be that Ultraman that's on the card, and you press buttons when the game tells you to hit the monster. And that is practically a rhythm game, but you only do it once or twice, and sometimes you gotta mash the button, and that's literally it. Sometimes you gotta time your pressing. By the way, whenever I do mash buttons in this game, it feels kinda innuendo-ish. Listen to this.
Here we go! Nicely done! Great! More! Perfect!
Also, I bet you're impressed with my incredible button mashing here. Ladies wink.
Alright, one more attack and then I'm gonna kill him. I just kicked him in the nuts and he's dead.
Editing napkin here, completely forgot to talk about liminal spaces that I found. These are just bare, empty floors with no machines. They feel illegal to visit, but they're still out in the open, and the arcade owners just decided not to keep it out of bounds or even fill it with any machines. But they're always fun to find. I even found this lift that goes somewhere in the middle of an arcade. I'm endlessly curious where that goes. Okay, that's it. I should have said this in the beginning, but we didn't pay for the arcade, but we did get to play a few games. I did pay in another time before this session, and it just happened to have 67 Tezos, which amounts to around 6 to 7 games. But yeah, that's it. We wasted that entire credit card. And we just did not want to refill the card, so there was still quite a few games that I wasn't able to try out, like the ping pong game, or bowling, or this dance rush machine that was broken and I didn't even record it. Anywho, I know I said that there were 2 time zone arcades in this mall, but psych, there is a third one, a non-chain arcade called Happy Time. This arcade's gimmick seems to be VR, which is cool, but I already have a VR machine. These non-chain arcade machines, they're also they exist in Indonesia either, and I don't go into many of them because you have to buy a new card and you can't use them across arcades. Anywho, we went to the toy store and then we ate some kebab and then we went home. So yeah, I'll miss the arcades in Indonesia. And they're just big, colorful, fun places with a bunch of machines that were specifically created for fun. Anywho, even if nowadays I'm unable to go physically visit an arcade or play the games, and I can still experience that through a guy's videos called S34N videos. I would say his occupation is a traveler just going around, and he's part of the Pump It Up community, and recently, as of like, I don't know, May 2024, he's been in Indonesia traveling around, going through a bunch of arcades. And man, I'm just gonna say, he's living the life. It's exactly what I want to be, just a traveler exploring places, especially arcades, which I used to have such a passion for when I was a child. So thank you, S34N videos. He's a great dude, and goodbye, arcades. I'll miss you. Consume everything, and goodbye.